Hi, this is Jill at engVid.com, and today we're going to have a lesson about what to do if someone says something to you and you can't hear them properly, or it's not very clear what they say, and you need to ask them to repeat what it was they said. And this could happen anywhere in the world, but especially if you're in maybe a big city where there are people of many different nationalities, cities like London, Toronto, New York, anywhere really in the world. So people with different accents, either because they're from other countries and English is not their first language, or even within one country, like within the UK, we have many different accents from different parts of the country, from different cities, from Scotland, Wales, Ireland. There are all different accents. And if someone has a strong accent, it's more difficult to understand them. So this lesson is about asking people to say again what they said. I have to do it even if someone says something in English, which is my first language. I sometimes have to ask people to say something again. So it happens to everybody. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the words you can use to deal with this situation. All right, so a very useful single word is just to say sorry, with a sort of rising in the voice question, sorry. And also I've put body language at the bottom here, but it's quite important. You can sort of go like this and say sorry and lean towards them a little bit with your hand by your ear. So especially if they also are not English, if their first language is not English, they will understand from this that you didn't understand what they said. So a little bit of body language helps as well. So sorry is very useful, and polite, because we need it to be polite as well. So polite. So sorry is a polite way of asking someone to repeat. At one time, there was also the word pardon, which is a little bit old-fashioned now. So to say pardon, it used to be very polite and children were taught to say pardon, but now it's a little bit old-fashioned and people might laugh at you if you use pardon. So see what other people say to you and then you can follow what they say. But pardon is a little bit old now. Okay, now things not to say, which are not polite. You don't just say what, because that is rather rude. So don't say what. What? Very rude, especially with a loud voice and making a funny face. What? Not very nice at all. So don't say what. And don't say things like a. A lot of English people might say a, but that's not polite either. So, or that's not polite either, just to say no. Okay, so the polite way really, as one word, is just to say sorry, and then the person will probably understand you need them to say it again. But there are longer sentences you can use as well, in addition to sorry, just to give you a wider range of options. And the three main things about the way we all speak is clarity. What we say should be clear. I hope I'm being clear in this lesson. So that's the adjective clear, and the noun is clarity, clarity of speech. Okay, so it must be clear. The pace or the speed, if people speak very quickly, it's difficult to follow what they're saying, to understand what they're saying. So the pace should be fairly slow and regular. Okay, and the volume, how loud or quiet somebody is. If someone speaks very quietly, you probably can't hear me at the moment. So some people are a bit shy and they don't speak very loudly. So the volume, how loud people are, is important. So sometimes you need to ask somebody to speak more loudly. So we have different sentences for these. Okay, so the first thing you can say, if someone says something and you missed a few words and you're not sure what they're saying, again, sorry is always a useful word to begin with. Like we had sorry as the single word. Sorry is always useful to begin with. Sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. Now, the quite is optional. You can say, I didn't catch what you said, or I didn't hear what you said. I didn't quite hear what you said. The quite just adds a little bit more politeness. I didn't quite hear. I nearly heard everything that you said, but not quite. That suggests that there was just one word that you didn't get. So, sorry, I didn't quite catch what you said. To catch something is to, like catching a ball or something. I didn't catch what you said, or I didn't hear what you said. And then the person will repeat, hopefully, right? Or again, to ask them to repeat, you can say, sorry, could you say that again, please? Or, sorry, could you repeat that, please? Okay, to say again or to repeat. So, could you say that again, please? Could you repeat that, please? Okay. So, sorry at the beginning, please at the end is always a good idea to make it polite. Now, if someone wasn't very loud and you want them to say it again with more volume, turning up the volume, you can say, sorry, could you speak up, please? To speak up means to be louder. So, louder. Okay, so sorry, could you speak up, please? Again, it's not very polite to say, sorry, you were too quiet. I didn't hear you, you were too quiet. That sounds a bit like a criticism. So to avoid sounding as if you're criticizing the person, oh, your voice is really quiet. It's not a very nice thing to say. So just to say, sorry, could you speak up, please? And maybe they'll think you can't hear very well and they think it's your fault and not theirs. You're being polite. Okay. If the person uses a word that you don't know, you can just actually say, sorry, I don't know that word. And you can ask them, what does it mean? What is the meaning of the word? Or could you tell me what it means, please? Okay, so could, not can you tell me? That's less polite. Could you tell me is more polite. What it means, please, again, please at the end. And if you're having a conversation, then it helps to keep the conversation going. If you ask somebody, oh, I don't know that word, what does it mean? Could you tell me what that word means? And, it helps you get to know the person a little bit better if you're asking them to explain something. So don't be afraid of asking for the explanation of a word. Okay. And then if someone speaks very quickly and all the words run together in one single sound and you want them to say it again, don't say, it's not very polite to say, sorry, you said that too quickly, because again, it sounds like a criticism. But if you say, sorry, could you speak more slowly, please? That's less, it sounds less like a criticism, okay? So could you speak more slowly, please? So sorry, please, at the end, at the beginning and at the end. Okay, and then, as I said before, body language is always helpful. I hope that's been useful to help you solve the problem of not understanding when somebody speaks. And if you'd like to test your knowledge, please go to the website, engVid.com, where there is a quiz that you can answer. And I hope to see you again soon. Okay, thank you. Bye.